back then I always felt like I would never go to a punk show because I felt like there were always skinheads.
There was always, yeah. I got stabbed by skinheads in Hollywood.
Tell me the fight story that you got stabbed in. The most amazing thing in the world for me when I go see shows now is like I saw Metallica and I was high, but I kept saying, those 4 people are making all this noise. That's just them. There's not like a soundtrack. There's like, it's crazy when you think that like just 4 people can make beautiful noise.
Right.
And you don't need a whole symphony. You know, it's just fucking mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Is it different? People always say, what's it like, the difference between like, to us, they go, or to me rather, they go, is it different doing clubs versus arenas? Do you think back to your early days and playing shows and the energy versus the venues you do now?
Super different.
Like, yeah. And I obviously, like, what's the small differences that would pique my interest?
Yeah. I mean, doesn't mean that one's better than the other. It's just that they're different, right? I mean, I think it's very easy to connect with a small club because it's like you're playing friends in your living room, kind of, right? You know, it's very easy to be conversational with them, I guess, right? That's a little harder.
I imagine doing crowd work at a amphitheater is way harder than doing crowd work in a club, right? You can't
crowd work in an amphitheater. It has to be something that is so of the moment. Like if there's a child there or a fucking dude in a gold lame suit, like something really. It's funny. The first time I did a theater, my buddy called me up and he said, "Giving you a heads up, your hour is going to go by in 35 minutes because the theater's presentation is it's got to be meticulous. It's no crowd work, no fucking around. 35 minutes on a theater, you could do an hour and a half in a club. You can fuck around a club so much.
Right.
Like, did you notice like your in-between song banter became different in the bigger venues?
For sure, yeah. The strokes have to become broader, right? I think it's harder to reach out further into the audience, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you guys start? What year did you start? 1990?
No.
We started the first time we played together was 84. 1984.
Holy shit. 84. You guys look so fucking good.
Thank you.
84?
Yeah. 1984, we started playing together first. And then in 94, Smash came out. And that was when we all quit our day jobs and quit school.
But 10 years of, slogging it.
Yep.
And like, did you feel loved by Southern California immediately?
No. We didn't feel loved by anybody.
Really?
Our first real love was Berkeley. Going up to Gilman Street, we had a following up there before we had a following in Southern California ever. So,
I mean, we really didn't know what we were doing. I mean, we didn't play instruments when we started a band, so it was really a long learning curve. So it really was 10 years before we got anywhere. But it was such an adventure. It wasn't like we were paying our dues. We knew we were going to make it. We were just having fun in the moment, right? Drinking beer and playing backyard parties.
Really?
Yeah.
And so when you say no one was playing an instrument, like you guys were just like kids in Southern California going like, wouldn't it be cool to have a band?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. And then you're like, yeah, we got to learn instruments first.
Yeah.
Did you pick your job and then learn that instrument?
Yeah. We go, what do you want to play? I'll play bass. What do you want to do?
That was
That was actually right before you.
I was playing in a different band. I had been playing for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Playing guitar for 2 or 3 years at that point.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So like what's your competency at 2 or 3 years? I mean, just for the basic guitar player listening.
I could play Ramones. I mean, I sucked. I could play 3 chords.
Really?
Play bar chords. That was really,
bar chords were
I played along to a lot of Stone stuff too. I tried to play, the intro to some Jimi Hendrix songs. I was never that great. I was a punk rock guitar player.
Yeah. I wish I should have gotten into punk rock. I would have been a much better guitar player.
It's easier.
Instead, I got into the Grateful Dead. And there were chords that I just could not.
Yeah.
My fingers couldn't do.
Yeah.
And I think Jerry Garcia only had 4 fingers. And I still couldn't do what he was doing.
On this hand, right?
Yeah.
So,
you said he was missing 2.
I thought he was missing 2, but maybe just the one.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it was just the one. I can't remember.
I just saw.
Maybe I'm confusing him with Django.
Django Unchained?
No, Django. Django, the jazz guitar player. Django Reinhardt.
Django Reinhardt.
Yeah, and it was his fret hand. I think he just played with 2 fingers on his fret hand.
So wait, when you guys started as a band, I was in a band. I'm not going to share the whole story because I've shared it so much. But I was in a band in college, and we all tried to like figure out our vibe. And some dudes were into 9 Inch Nails. Some dudes were into like who's it? Jello Biafra,
Dead Kennedys.
Dead Kennedys. Yeah. And I was like, I think we need to mash up hip hop and rock music. I was pitching Limp Bizkit way before Limp Bizkit. And I'm being dead fucking serious.
Yeah.
Well, I was late to Nirvana. Mm-hmm. I was late to Nirvana, and I was right on time to you guys. I mean, I fucking discovered you guys in 1995 on a rock in Greece. I had Liquid Ecstasy. I hope my daughters aren't downstairs. They take you on a rock in Corfu, and you jump off this fucking 90-foot rock, and this fucking Dutch guy that was the guide was like, he had cases of Lowenbrow. And he's like, hey, would you guys like some Liquid Ecstasy? And we were like, huh? He's like, liquid, it's GHB now that we know. But I was like, yeah, sure. So we all take a little sip. And he's like, type of Lowenbrow. Do you guys know the Offspring? And I was like, I don't think so. He goes, you should. They're an American band, man. You should check out the Offspring. And the first song he played was Bad Habit.
Nice.
Fucked me up.
Nice.
The fact that I'm sitting with you guys right now and Bad Habit, it was, and then I came home, my girlfriend had cheated on me, and Bad Habit was my anthem. that whole album, top to bottom. I just listened to it downstairs. We listened to Offspring every day when we work out. Every fucking day when we work out. Awesome. Every single, my trainer is fucking hardcore SoCal, and you are in our playlist every fucking day. One of the songs you just had, and I'm a really horrible interview. You just had one song blow the fuck up. Take your shot, kid.
You're gonna go far.
You're gonna go far, kid.
Yeah.
And my assistant was like, I don't think I know that song. And we started playing it, and he was like, oh, fuck, we work out to this song. We listened to all your fucking music, but sitting on that rock, this dude, all he had was one fucking boombox and the Offspring CD. And we listened to that whole album high as fuck on a rock in Greece.
I love it. Check it out. 3 grad, Lowenbrow, GHB, and the Offspring all in one day, right? That's
Lowenbrow in Greece too, though. Yeah.
Do you know the best?
Lowenbrow used to be the shit.
Lowenbrow, and that's all they had in Greece. It was the coolest place, Pink Palace.
Wow.
Did you guys ever get to be like regular like kids?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like, how old were you in '94? You guys were probably, I'm guessing, 29.
Yeah.
Like that. So like, what was your, like, did you ever like get to like backpack Europe or like go to football games or like the shit that like most kids do and define their, or were you guys just chasing rock stardom since you were like fucking 21, 18 and like always in a van?
Yeah, no, I mean, we grew up normal high school kids. The band thing, especially early on, was more a hobby. It was what we did on weekends and summer vacations and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we all grew. We went to graduated high school, got jobs, and went to college. And
you guys, where did you go to college?
He went to college. He went to USC.
USC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
You grew up L.A.?
No, I grew up in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went to Florida State.
Nice.
Yeah, and just but very regular childhood, like very regular college, like frat, joined fraternity.
What, Tampa, St. Pete area?
Tampa, St. Pete. Yeah, Tampa.
Did you ever go to, was it Livestock Festival? It was a radio festival out there. It was
Livestock.
Live 105 or Live something.
Was it in the middle of a field?
Yeah, it was out in the middle of nowhere.
I went and saw Widespread Panic out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a jam band guy. When I got to college, I was like a jam band guy, and then got my heart broken and was like fucking everything.
Became angry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, that fucking album, I was like, this guy's been hurt like me.
Woman haters, He-Man Woman Haters Club, right?
Fucking cut me off, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That was like, and then I started deep diving. There was like they do these compilation, Southern California compilation rock albums, and you'd hear like Pennywise was on it, and like 10-Foot Pole. Do you remember 10-Foot Pole?
Of course, yeah.
He was a pitcher or something.
Yeah, Scott Radinsky.
Scott Radinsky, yeah. 10-Foot Pole, and then that was when I dyed my hair blonde. I dyed my hair white, and then realized I didn't have the clothes to carry the look. So you can't dye your hair white and then wear a polo.
Our first show ever, the first show I played with you guys, it was the first club show, was in Santa Cruz, and Scared Straight played, and I think that was before 10 Foot Pole. That was Scott Radansky's band.
Okay.
So our first show we played with him. And White Flag, remember what band called White Flag?
No.
They would kind of do the opposite of what Black Flag did. Like they did pro-police songs instead of anti-police songs.
How progressive.
Yeah.
Pro-police.
They put out a record, and you couldn't just listen to it all the way through. You had to pick up the needle and move it to the next song. They put like a barrier in between the songs.
Police blockades between songs.
So punk. White Flag, they were nuts.
What was the punk scene like that? Back then I always felt like I would never go to a punk show because I felt like there were always skinheads.
There was always, yeah. I got stabbed by skinheads in Hollywood. Stabbed in the shoulder.
He did.
Are you serious?
So yeah, nothing major, but yeah, I had to get some stitches, but they missed all the important parts.
Wait, you can't tell me that. Tell me the fight story that you got stabbed in.
So it was a benefit. We played with this band. Final Conflict.
Yeah.
They started. It was like a benefit for an anti-nuclear organization. Bulimia Banquet was one of the bands. Probably five bands, and we were in the middle somewhere. And this fight started, and I just kind of went up to kind of push a table in front of the door, and all of a sudden I thought I got punched in the arm, and the guy jumps in. I thought he punched me in the arm, and he jumps back, and I go, "It's over, it's over." And then they went running off, and skinhead stabbed me in the shoulder.
Jesus.
So, yeah.
How do you write? How do you? I don't know the right way to say this question, but like, how do you make sure that skinheads don't become your fans?
Yeah, really, huh?
Oh man, keep them separated. I had somebody tell me that they write a fan letter.
Oh my god!
And they loved it
keep them separated
because they thought it was about separating the races, and like, whoa, no,
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah,
No.
But they thought you're right. We got to no, we're not. That's not. You're wrong. No,
Yeah.
Terrible.
Well, we had long hair back then, so that probably kept skinheads away mostly, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys have stylists come in when you guys started blowing up? Because your look was just so fucking. It was like defined. I mean, I want to say it's part of the reason I fucking ended up dyeing my hair white. You and the Beastie Boys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't like that at all.
Not at first. Not for.
Yeah.
Probably a decade into actually it being a career. We're styled now. Like I was handed this shirt earlier today.
For real?
Yeah, we had a friend come meet us for a photo shoot earlier today, and she styled us. Yeah,
I was getting dressed. I dress like I dress now, but normally whatever I wear on stage is always Nike SB Dunks, jeans, no shirt. But I only wear a t-shirt. I wear hats a lot. And my daughter one time to me said, "When are you going to stop dressing like a 13-year-old boy?" And I was like, "Huh?" She was like, "You dress like a child." She's like, "Aren't you a grown-up?" And I went, "Oh, fuck." Do you guys ever feel like that?
Oh, yeah. all the time.
Do you ever fucking want to, is there a drive to put on a pair of loafers?
Crocs around the house, man.
Really?
I always wear Crocs at home. Oh, yeah.
I've never worn Crocs.
Home is where the Crocs are. They're so comfortable.
Really?
So, yeah. I sit around in Crocs all day.
Socks and Crocs?
Yeah, socks. You got to wear socks.
I couldn't wear.
They get nasty.
I have a weird thing. Like growing up in Florida, I don't know, you guys, I wonder, our thing in Florida was if you saw a dude with shoes on at the beach, he was fucking did not belong there.
Mm-hmm.
Like shoes and socks on the beach, especially Air Force Ones, and you're like, the fuck's this kid from? I'm a flip-flop guy. I'm barefoot. And I mean, Vans weren't even a thing for us. That was more like you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
You see that. Yeah. To me, you look like a guy who's proud of how you dress, and I like that. I think you wear it proudly. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
No, I feel like I've earned the right to dress comfortable, and then I like to have summer looks. Like I like to get into a look for the summer. Like one year it was short running shorts and Hawaiian shirts.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that look.
Do you plan it for the whole summer, and then do you change it up every summer?
Every summer, yeah.
Okay.
This year, short khakis.
That's your OCD talking, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
it is. You ever
for
deal
sure.
with any like
A
craziness?
little bit, yeah, but not that bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a whole summer look. I don't change that much, anyways. I'm pretty much black jeans and a black t-shirt. That's it.
Black on black's a fucking look, though.
So,
it's my daughter Isla.
yeah.
My daughter Isla has those exact fucking shoes.
Oh, really?
nice.
Oh yeah. It was cool. I'd take her to go see bands every now and then. We just took her to see The Dead in Vegas, and
With Mayer on guitar.
with Mayer.
He's great. He's a good player.
He had. I wonder what this means to you. He had this finger was broken
On the fret hand or the
on the fret hand,
That's crazy. That's crazy.
and he played a 5-hour show.
Wow. Yeah.
Just all these fingers.
Yeah.
I
don't know how you do that on
Yeah.
your fret hand. Yeah. No, I broke my pinky on my fret hand once, and I couldn't hold a guitar for 2 months.
For real?
Yeah. So, and even then coming back, when I was coming it back, bringing it back, took a long time to get back up to where I could play regular.
Really?
Playing guitar is probably the best physical therapy for, getting back after a break like that.
Yeah.
But it was messed up.
My daughter Isla would lose her head if it wasn't attached to her. We dropped her off at college. She had keys for her dorm with her name, everything, name thing on a lanyard. Day one, Dad, I lost it. I said, baby, I got you. I put a tile on it. And we found it within seconds. Listen, every family has stories like this, and we all know the people in our family who just can't seem to keep it all together. Family proof your family by stocking up on Life 360 tile trackers. When stuff goes missing, just use the tile app to ring it when it's nearby or track down its location on a map when it's farther away. Dude, it is so easy. Easily find your family's lost or stolen stuff. Just ring your tile when something goes missing, or track it down by the location on the map. Add your tile tracker to your Life 360. I've talked about Life 360 on stage before. I am a huge proponent of Life 360. I Life 360 friends. So all you got to do, add your tile tracker to your Life 360. See your family and all your family stuff all in one spot. Family proof your family with Life 360's tile tracker. Visit tile.com today and use code Bertcast to get 15% off. That's tile.com. Code Bertcast. Dude, by the way, hey, for real, leave this in. I need more tiles. I put a tile on Leanne during Fully Loaded. I swear to God, I put it on her lanyard so I could find her. I have to tell you about this game-changing product I use before a night out with drinks. It's called Pre-Alcohol. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It is this byproduct, not dehydration, that is to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break down this byproduct. Just remember to make ZBiotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. I swear by this stuff. I drink one before I go out, and I'm telling you right now, I wake up feeling phenomenal, regular, dare I say, very regular, and I can achieve everything I want to achieve in the gym. I kept hearing about pre-alcohol, and I wondered what it was actually like. Now that I've tried it, I totally get why everyone's talking about it. And with their GMO technology, ZBiotics is continuing to invent probiotics that will help with everyday challenges of modern living. Go to zbiotics.com/Bertcast to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use code Bertcast at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, head to zbiotics.com/Bertcast and use code Bertcast at checkout for 15% off. Do you still love playing the guitar? Do you look like it? Does it feel like a job?
I love it.
Really?
I still love it, yeah.
Do you play every day?
Not every day, no. When I'm home for a while, I will, but we're bouncing around. I got stuff to do. We play every day on the road. Well, at least every day. I have a travel guitar, so I'll play on days off as well. But every day we get in. Dex likes to show up at the very last minute. He warms up his voice once in the hotel, warms up right before we go back on. The rest of us like to get there early. We have practice amps and practice guitars, and we like to run through stuff. Just really? Whether it's our stuff, especially if we're doing like a new song, we'll run through that. Sometimes we'll just do covers, an X song or a Devo or,
Devo.
Yeah, Creedence or Neil Young. We've been doing some Neil Young.
Noodles loves guitar more than anybody I know. Actually,
really?
It's being
I
honest.
do love guitar. I love playing.
Really?
Yeah, so.
It's crazy that it got introduced to you in your life. I guess I learned when I was 14, and then I got okay, but then I never could get past that hump.
Right.
Like I don't think it was meant for me. I think it's meant for me to shut my brain off. Because I think my brain just, I have no control over it. It's funny, your voice is so deep compared to how you sing.
Oh, okay.
Like I just got my voice back. I lose my voice very quickly on the road. I think it's the alcohol really and the weed. And but I smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that I'm like actually kind of crept into my life where I was like, well, fuck, I didn't think I was going to be an everyday guy.
Right. Yeah.
I never thought I'd be like, but every day, like as soon as we're done this, I'm gonna light a joint and then go sit in my backyard and thank my trees.
And yet you think that it's more alcohol than the weed that affects your voice?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't smoke a whole joint. I'll take a couple hits.
Sure.
But I used to be able to sing your songs really good. Like I used to be able to get my voice up there. And today I haven't been talking a lot. I've been doing stand up in a while. And today I was singing all your songs, and I was really impressed that because I got a bad habit.
Nice. All right, getting up there. Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's the best one I've heard in a while.
Can I
That's
just tell
great.
you my favorite part of that song?
Sure.
I mean, this is like, I don't know if you've ever have you ever gotten this where you got to geek out with someone that was a part of you, like really a part of you when you're going through a change, get cheated on, come back. I'm cucked by my whole fucking, everyone that I know knows my girlfriend fucked my best friend. And she'd been doing it all summer. I was in Greece listening to the Offspring, and the fucking, I had so many questions I wanted to ask you. There's a line in a song where you, I'm on a roll, but I think it's kind of weak. Was that about ecstasy?
Not about ecstasy.
No, I don't think
Really?
Yeah.
That's from Gotta Get Away. That's just about being in your own head and tripping yourself out by just thinking too much.
I always thought it was ecstasy.
I've never done ecstasy. Have you done ecstasy?
I
Never
don't
done.
think so.
It's so good.
Yeah.
What a great fucking intro to a song. This is my favorite part. This is my favorite part of the song.
Is that when you jump off the rock?
Oh, dude, that's like fucking. You're blowing up on a rock. You're just going like. I mean, I literally could. I want to show you how I air guitar your songs, because I mean I've been air guitaring these songs for fucking years. So okay, so Smash blows up, right? It blows the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then expectations are set. You sign with a label, right?
We were already signed with a label when Smash came out.
Independent label, yeah.
So how big was Smash? Like, because I know I discovered it. It was my thing. I mean, I really think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the moment the world found out about the Offspring, and I was a little precious to it because it was white boy. I'm pretty fly for a white guy. I feel like that was like global.
That took off a little bit more than Smash. Smash was big.
But that was at the heyday
At 94.
of MTV, Carson Daly, fucking.
I think Pretty Fly went a little bit more into the pop world than
for sure.
anything off Smash.
For sure,
did.
yeah.
It's still such a great fucking song.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
such a great fucking song.
You know, I wrote that driving down my street because I recognized that in my neighborhood, you know, and then we'd go someplace on tour. I don't know, let's say it's somewhere in the US, and people would say like, oh yeah. And like it was connecting on MTV and stuff. But what tripped me out is how we'd be in Italy, you know, and
Germany,
somebody, and they'd come
Italy.
up to me and they go, I know that guy. You know, like, really?
Yeah.
We had no idea how universal it truly was, the sentiment or the
suburban kid who just played it like he's straight up from the hood.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I'm curious, like after Smash, what's that experience like? I mean, you're making legit money on album sales, I'm assuming. You're going out on big tours. Were you supporting on tours, or were you headlining those tours after Smash?
We decided not to do any support slots, to go out and do what they call under sales. So start out with smaller places first off, and then build a following.
Really?
We also, we're not professional musicians yet. We gotta learn how to do that. And so we thought, let's do a build, and keep slowly building and building. And I still feel like one of these days we're going to be a real band.
Yeah.
It
was true. We were playing small clubs, and all of a sudden the sales really eclipsed where we were at in terms of being able to perform live and stuff. And it took us a while to catch up to that. So I think we were kind of careful about being put out there too quickly.
Really?
I remember one time in Davie, Florida with Shelter. Remember Shelter was opening, and it was way oversold. There was people out front, and people couldn't get in. It was almost a riot that first U.S. tour.
Yeah.
So that would happen occasionally,
And so what did the tour look like at that time? Were you guys in a van or a bus?
Finally had a bus, but we were still sharing rooms.
Yeah.
Like, 2 or 3 guys per room.
Really? So no sex.
Not in those rooms. Yeah.
Yeah. It was still, compared to, how it got to be. It got to be pretty comfortable. But yeah, back then we were barely out of a van. We'd been in a van for years, whatever, and even our first bus was so crappy it broke down in Reno.
It was Cannibal Corpse's bus, and it broke down like after 2 days. We were stuck in Reno for a couple of days.
They kept on saying they could get us another bus, and it just wasn't happening. And our next show was in Tucson, and finally they're like, "I'm sorry, guys, we gotta rent cars and go." So
cars and
we drove two sedans, played a show in Reno, and then drove all night from Reno to Tucson. It was
over the Hoover Dam,
taking turns driving, and this is when the song's on like MTV, and we're still freaking driving our cars overnight to get to the next show. So fuck.
Is there ever going to be a time? Have you ever thought of maybe revisiting Smash now that you guys are so much more achieved as musicians and remastering that and taking it,
re-recording
it with the chops you have now? Because like I've thought about that with specials. Like I have specials that I did when I was younger, and the jokes are solid, the stories are solid, but I was so remedial at that time that my thing was to get in and get out of it. And now as a better comedian, what would be a 3 to 5 minute story, I could turn into an 8-minute epic story. Mm-hmm. Do you ever think like that?
We've thought about it, but honestly, we think part of the charm is where we were at the time. We weren't polished musicians. And so I think that kind of comes through when people find that endearing. I don't know. Is that part of it?
Yeah, I think that I know what you mean. There's ideas I look at now when we were much younger going, that was actually a really good musical idea, but we weren't able to execute it well back then, right? And there is one old song, Dirty Magic, that we actually did try to redo years later. Mm-hmm. And nobody liked it.
It didn't do much better for us. Yeah, I think people still like that song, but I think people, the hardcore fans prefer the original. Of course, play your old shit.
Yeah.
They're going to like the older stuff rather than.
It actually reminds me, not to get too academic about this, but they asked J.D. Salinger the same thing about Catcher in the Rye. Don't you want to go back and revise those chapters because now you know so much better how to make it just right? And he said, no, it's the flaws that make it part of how it is. I'm actually not tempted to go back and fix it.
Yeah.
Oh, I bought back one of my albums.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I bought it back. I was like, don't release it.
Really?
Yeah, oh, yeah. I'm embarrassed of it. Like, I look at it and I go, like, sorry. Sorry.
I like that.
That
Let
was
it
perfect.
go.
That was really perfect.
I mean, this whole album fucks me up. You know that?
Awesome.
Like, when I listen to this one album, and what's crazy is you look at your body of work, and I just did this because, you guys are my age, but self-esteem, kids aren't all right. You're going to go far, kid. Pretty fly for a white guy. Come out and play. Shut the fuck up. Gone away. Why don't you get a job? Want You Bad. Every single one. Absolute banger that every single person downstairs knows every lyric top to bottom. Then you go to your top songs. And I'm telling you, Bad Habit is still fucking 9 away. And that is like every fucking song you guys have written is literally, you go to your essentials and it's longer than, it's fucking incredible.
I haven't even looked at that.
You don't look at your own shit?
We look at some of the numbers, especially if something's new, like what's it doing? Like what's the new single doing on radio, stuff like that. But I don't go on iTunes and, or Apple Music or whatever and see where we're rated, or Spotify. I don't check our own shit on that.
I'll look at Spotify to see.
Yeah.
We're very stoked because we just had a song, You're Gonna Go Far Kid, just went over 1 billion streams.
Yeah.
Fucking wild.
Like a week ago.
It's such a good song.
Oh, thank you.
Is that just on Spotify, or is that 1 billion streams on all the services?
It's 1 billion just on Spotify.
Just on Spotify.
Yeah.
Wow, shit. That's
I play it every single fucking morning.
Thank you.
And I work out every day. And I've had this trainer for 2 months. So you got a solid 60 from me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That helps.
And my workout for an hour, it's we usually played twice. Do you guys work out on the road?
I do.
He does. Actually, I do from time to time. I'm like real hit or miss with working out.
Really?
I like getting out and walking through a city. I'll walk 8-9 miles, in a day in Prague or whatever. But, sometimes I'll hit the gym. Sometimes I'm too hungover.
Yeah. The what's a daily? I say this. We were talking about this during hair and makeup, but like I'm very healthy on the road. I'm way healthier than I am at home. I think at home I'm always like going, when is it too early for a beer? Like I'm always doing that at home. Whereas on the road, I will not have my first drink until like 11 after my show's over.
Yeah.
And I'm very regulated. It is sleep until I wake up. Never wake up early on the road unless I got to do like press or something. Go eat lunch, find an activity, come home, take a nap, work out at the gym at 6:30. Show starts at 7:30. I work out all the way into 7:30. Yeah. I go into the bus. I love having no time before like showering, getting dressed, and then walking straight and having someone going, 5 minutes to show time, 5 minutes to you're on stage, boss. And then I get on stage, I come off, and then at 10:30 I get off, and I either have a drink or I'll smoke a little weed, 1 or 2. But because bus calls at midnight or 1:30, right. I don't get too lit. Whereas being at home, I'm just left to my own devices. Where it's
I can stay up drinking all night on a tour bus.
Can you please tell someone who's never lived on a tour bus how great that is?
I know, it really is. It's great. On the last U.S. tour, we had a bus, and a couple of us did mushrooms and stayed up drinking all night. You missed out on that one. I think
I didn't even know about this.
Yeah. And that was just a blast. We were just laughing our ass off, just drinking beer and
stay up all night just watching Tropic Thunder and laughing. And
Honey, it's always sunny.
Yeah,
they put on It's Always Sunny. Everyone got high as fuck, and they put on It's Always Sunny, and I've never seen an episode, and I was crying, laughing, going, "What is this?"
Yeah. I've never watched the whole episode. I've only seen clips, and it looks hysterical.
Oh, it's fucking, it's brilliant. But it's so fun that bus call. Everyone gets on the bus, and the best is bullying people into drinking.
Sure, peer pressure's real, man.
Sure. Oh, it's the best. Like someone goes,
like I need any peer pressure.
Yeah, really.
Like, I'm going to bed, and you're like, the fuck you are. Don't let him in. And then you got 6 dudes pulling a guy out of his bunk going.
So when you have the day off, you don't have a gig the next day. Do you stay up all night and drinking on the bus, or are you?
Yeah. I have 2 versions of myself. I have one where I lost weight, which is the healthy one you're meeting now.
Yeah.
And then there was the one before that, the one I was talking about when we toured at COVID. Maybe my favorite time of my touring I've ever done in my entire life, because we were in a bubble, and the bubble was our bus, and every bunk was filled. We had a bus driver who was the funniest fucking guy in the world. And once we'd get on the bus, we were not going to bed. We had mornings where we'd all be sitting up in the front jump seat with the bus driver, 5 of us, 6 of us, still drinking, talking shit, having him tell stories about fucking touring with Ja Rule.
Funny.
And those were the best nights. And then we would do this thing called Sneeze Night Snackers, where we would take all our leftovers and we'd create a snack based on our leftovers, microwave it, and then we'd each create a unique snack, and we'd all rate them. So you'd have like Crystal's Burgers, McDonald's French fries, a little bit of Wendy's pizza, and then you'd bite it and you go, wow, this is good. I'm sensing Pizza Hut. Am I right? And they're like, there is Pizza Hut in there. Those were the fucking best.
Oh my God, how funny.
That's awesome.
How fun.
I like the routine. I can totally identify with a lot of that. Like, you're going to sleep in because there's no point in trying to get up. You're going to be up. You're going to be up until 11 or 12 at night anyway, right? Yeah. So it totally makes sense. But to try to get up and do something, just so you're not just stuck in a room with the curtains drawn all day. I don't know if you go to hotels on your days off or not, but
I don't allow it. I'm really weird. Okay. I don't, if you go on tour with me, I want you to be a part of my family.
Okay.
Like, I'm really weird. That's why
so we're all camping together.
It's especially, probably less so now. And definitely when we do Fully Loaded, I let everyone do their own things. It's too many comics. It's like 12 comics. And I'm like, if you guys want hotel rooms, I'll get you hotel rooms. Yeah. But I'm on the bus. I don't leave the fucking bus. When we tour Europe, I get really pissy because you're not allowed to sleep in buses in London on the street.
Okay. I got an important question. Do you poop on your bus?
Yeah.
I do not.
Okay. So you have to find first thing in the morning, you had that cup of coffee, you got to find a good, comfortable place to poop.
So the bus has to go drive somewhere for you to find a place to...
So like the 2 Berts. COVID Bert, I hot bagged it all the time.
Hot bag. Yeah, the hot bag trick.
All the time.
Okay.
And then new Bert, and then I got really strict with my diet, so I went carnivore, and I no longer allow myself hot sauce. Because hot sauce was there's no worse feeling than waking up at 4 a.m. going, I have to shit now. And being like, yo, is there a Buc-ee's that we can pull over it?
A Buc-ee's, yeah. It's the hot sauce, you think, that does it?
Hot sauce would make me shit.
Huh.
Does your audience know the whole thing about how you can't shit on the bus? I don't know.
No, you tell them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
It's just a thing. I guess it's because you can't really, they just can't vapor lock whatever the latrine.
You can't
thing
vapor
is.
lock it. It's really hard to clean it out. There's, it really ruins a bus. If you shit on a bus, it ruins it.
Totally ruins
everybody on the bus smells your shit.
Everybody knows it. And if you're in your fucking bunk and you smell shit coming in, it's the worst. So we always tell someone when they come on the bus, for whatever you do not shit on the bus. Because people don't know. Like your guests come on and they're like, sorry, I gotta go. And then all of a sudden you got a problem.
Do you remember the crazy crusty punks in the UK?
Yes.
We had a friend who was hanging out with Ice-T and Body Count, and somebody in Body Count, I guess, was getting a little pushy. She goes, "Can I use the bathroom?" They go, "Sure." She went in, took a shit in their bathroom
to fuck with them,
and then just walked off the bus.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wow, that's a good one.
I think it could be way worse.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
Do you have kids?
I do.
Yeah. Older?
They are now. Yeah.
How old?
My daughter's 34. She probably doesn't want me saying that, but whatever. She's 34. She's gonna have her first child, my first grandchild, and then my son's a huge fan, by the way. 22.
Oh, for real?
Huge fan. Yeah. So.
Oh hell yeah! Of me or you?
So you.
Oh.
Not me, man. I'm the one who makes him clean his room, and eat his vegetables.
Is there ever a band that you guys got offered to open for that you, in hindsight, you're like, man, I wish we had, like, they're the fucking Stones?
I don't remember that. I remember we got offered Saturday Night Live when things were first going for us, and we turned it down because we didn't feel we were ready.
By the way, not a bad call.
Yeah.
In my opinion, sometimes the most powerful thing in your life is saying no.
Yeah.
And especially knowing where you're at. Like, that's really, I would suggest to a lot of the comics putting out specials, maybe take a note from the Offspring and be like, give me a year to get a little better, and I'm not in a rush to get famous.
Right. So, and we were pretty sloppy. We're a punk band. Like we weren't professional yet.
Yeah.
So we said no. I wish we would have done it.
Kind of. Well, I think it kind of ruined our relationship with them. They felt snubbed, I think.
Yeah.
Really? Tried to explain that.
I think Lauren got.
So
I think from
I don't think we'll ever be on the show, but
but
I think that's a really good point. What you said. Sometimes you got to wait till you're ready, right? I can see now that I'd feel good about doing something like that now, but back then it wasn't right.
Wait, what were your bands you listened to growing up?
Really, all the Southern California punk stuff. You mentioned the Dead Kennedys earlier. That's a big one for us. Probably the biggest influence was a Huntington Beach band, TSOL.
I know TSOL.
Yeah, I love them. They're playing Saturday.
They are
actually, yeah.
Really?
In Huntington Beach at the sports complex,
something like that. Yeah,
it's just bizarre.
Yeah. Do you guys have a chat thread with all the punk bands that you guys keep in touch with? You're like, yo, what's up, guys?
You kind of end up getting to know all of them over time, right?
Yeah.
We mostly run into them at shows and stuff and on tour.
Yeah.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Think of a time recently when you didn't feel like you could be your full self, like you were hiding behind a mask. October is a season for wearing masks and costumes, but for some of us, we feel like we're wearing a mask and hiding more often than we want to. At work, in social settings, around family, therapy can be a great place to learn to accept all the parts of yourself so you can take off that mask. Because masks should just be for Halloween fun, not for our emotions. This happened to Leanne the other night at dinner. I'm telling you right now, I watched her put on a mask. It was a mask to hide behind, and she just smiled and sat there. And then we got done. She was like, she had a minute about it. And I said, well, hang on. I actually noticed you were doing that. You should write that down and talk about that in therapy. And she goes, what? And I said, because I saw you do it. And you saw you do it. Like, so then talk about it in therapy. And she did. She talked about it in therapy. And she explained exactly why it happened. And then went out to another group dinner. Did not happen. She was a ball of joy. Listen, here's the deal. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you got to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Take off the mask with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Bert today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Bert. I think it's pretty clear that I'm just kind of a t-shirt, jeans kind of guy, maybe flip-flops. I want to look good, though. Maybe I wear hoodies. But here's the thing. With just a t-shirt, you want to look good. This is why I love True Classic. These shirts are perfect for body types like mine. Tighten the chest, tighten the arms, loosen the stomach so you look good. And they have them in 3, 6, and 9 packs. These shirts are designed with your best features for a perfect fit. Like I said, you look jacked and then you look skinny. I'm telling you right now, they have fall must-haves. And anything True Classic does, I trust because I look good in their clothes. Their must-haves are long sleeve Henleys, waffle hoodies, jeans, button-ups, joggers, and more. Their joggers are legit. Dude, I only work out in their shirts. I work out in their shirts mostly because it makes me feel better about myself. There's something to be said about clothes to work out in that make you feel better about yourself. And there's nothing better to put one on, work out in, and then throw it on and go to work. Fall is here. It's time to step up your game. Right now, you can unlock big savings when you bundle packs. Just go to my exclusive link at trueclassic.com/Bertcast to save. That's trueclassic.com/Bertcast. Shop now and elevate your wardrobe today. I have so many punk questions because I'm curious because, despite I really do like a lot of music, but I think my feelings were best represented in punk. Like I always did feel a tad bit of an outsider. I first discovered punk on Chips. There's an episode of Chips.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I dig pain. Feel it in my brain. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I discovered
So
hip hop on
funny.
2020.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I'm fucking white. But I'm curious,
Chips.
one of the things I noticed early on was that the punk scene will embrace you and then they'll tell you to go fuck off. They'll be like, fuck them. I mean, it's most notably happened with Green Day. Is like, great.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard Green Day, I was like, who the fuck is this? And then all of a sudden, once you hit this threshold, it's almost like Dave Matthews. All of a sudden your fans go, they turned on me. Did you guys ever have that experience?
Not so much with fans of ours, but there was a lot of punks that wanted to keep punk rock to themselves, you know. How you put it really good earlier, when you love music and all of a sudden your little sister starts loving it, it's not cool anymore, right? Yeah. So once, the cheerleaders and the jocks started listening to punk rock and listening to our bands, then the punks were pissed. This is our music. That's not for the jocks and the cheerleaders and, the straight A students and the glee club. It's not for them. It's for us. But I always thought punk was the best music happening. Why shouldn't it be for everybody? I just thought it was good. Anyone that's pissed off and angry should be able to get it.
I never got that because even before things happened for us, when I saw a band get big, I was stoked. Like when Nirvana got big, I was like, rad.
Wait, Nirvana got big before you guys got big.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Where were you the first time you heard Nirvana? What was your first?
I remember
Nirvana?
driving in my pickup truck. I don't know if I was going from work to pick up my daughter or something, or just drop my kid off. Maybe I was at her mom's and was going home or something. It was at nighttime, and I remember hearing it and going, "What is this? This is great. This is real music."
I think Teen Spirit first on the radio, but Bleach was the record before that, and we were all kind of aware of that record and stuff, so I was familiar with them. But that's why I was a fan, and when I saw it getting bigger and then saw it on MTV, it was so cool. And when we saw the video for Teen Spirit, it's like, this looks like our shows. This looks like a punk show.
Yeah.
And I was stoked to see that on.
I recognized the janitor. I was a janitor.
You were a janitor.
Yeah. That's who he identified with.
Yeah, totally. That could be me one day.
Was there a part of you that was like, yo, maybe if we change our vibe a bit, we can go grunge? It's selling.
I remember other bands doing that we were kind of coming up with. We're changing their sound and becoming a little more grunge, just slowing it down. We never did that. I remember talking about not doing that.
We've been around since, like he said, 84 or 85. And so when the whole glam metal thing happened, that was like 87, 88, Guns N' Roses.
Shit.
And all the bands in our neighborhood were switching to metal. They're growing their hair.
Right.
And they're moving to Sunset Boulevard and living in lofts and, and try to make it. And we knew.
I remember some of the young punks doing that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think, Duff McKagan was a punker. He started off, playing punk rock and then going and doing Guns N' Roses.
It was a Seattle punk. It was the Farts, I think, was his band, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that worked for him.
That's Seattle. Do you consider Nirvana a punk band?
He does.
I do.
I do
They
too.
were punk, but they just were a little slower. They weren't as up tempo.
So then, what is define? I don't even know if this is possible, but define punk for me.
What did you say? It's kind of like Buddhism.
It's like Buddhahood. It's something you strive to attain, but you never quite achieve.
Really?
I do think there's something to that. Punk is just something you love and you want to hold dear. It's trying to defy convention. When somebody tells you, no, you can't, you go, well, why can't I do that? When somebody tells you, you must do this. Well, why do I have to do this? I don't have to do this.
Different flavors, right? But it's raw and it's aggressive and it's rebellious. And in that sense, fucking Johnny Cash is punk rock, right?
Johnny Cash is pretty fucking
totally.
punk rock.
For sure.
Yeah. Johnny Cash is very punk rock, I think.
Yeah,
totally.
I think a lot of outlaw country is.
Yeah.
Especially the outlaw country that didn't sell, meaning like David Allan Coe. You ever listen to David Allan Coe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's fucking, I would say he's as punk rock as it gets in country music.
Mm-hmm.
Even Waylon and like all those guys. And I think there's a whole genre of that happening now in country music. I mean, country music's hotter than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And I think it's because, it's funny. I was just talking to a buddy about this earlier, and I was saying, I think I come from, my comedy comes from a music background. I mean, I'm in love with music. Music takes a hold of me at times, and I have no control over myself. I actually, we're listening to your catalog this afternoon and in the office today, I actually had to take a breath and go, let's not get lost in this tonight. Let's not go back to 1995 let's not go back to Bert, that guy, because I will. And I was like, I'm going to get a 40. I'm going to put on a pair of Chucks, and I'm going to fucking sit in my backyard and I'm going to fucking go through it. But what's crazy about music is I feel like music, even punk music, is always kind of storytelling. It's always like telling you about who I am, what I feel, what I'm going through. This is my journey. And it's very autonomous, very directed inward, as opposed to bands like Rage. Now, I don't know a thing about Zach De La Rocha. I don't know anything about any of that band at all. I know that they think the Indians got fucked. Like, I know that that's the majority, or I should say Native Americans. But like, I know that they're like very against power, fight the power or whatever. And I love that. But I always looked at music and I was like, oh yeah, I was always internalizing it. They were speaking to me about my life. And I'm always curious, like, was there ever a time where you're like, man, we got to fucking write about COVID or some shit?
No.
Right?
That's, no. First of all, you don't want to put a message like before the music. You want to come up with a song that you feel, well, okay, I got this good melody. I got a good beat, good guitar riff. Let's build on that. You don't, then you kind of, what should it be? What should the song be about? What are the vibes I'm feeling? How can I maybe even kind of twist this with my lyrics a little bit? But you want to make the song first. You don't want to, Rage Against the Machine are great at doing political stuff.
They're fucking amazing. Rage Against the Machine is amazing.
But I think that the music and the groove and everything happens, the riffs happen, and then I think Zach and Tom would probably write the
icing on the cake
the
for them,
lyrics,
right?
Yeah, but they are already feeling that, and feeling that. So Rage Against the Machine,
yeah.
We're here raging with the machine,
that's right.
I'm very excited.
I heard about that. Yeah.
So,
that's great. We spent a little time on Russian trains, so I don't
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have you played Russia?
We did a full-on tour in Russia.
Yeah.
What year?
2013.
13?
Wasn't it? What do you think?
I think it was 13.
Yeah.
About 2013. So
we've gone there a couple times before and done Moscow and St. Petersburg and all that. And
we did that
cool.
festival on the Black Sea.
Yeah, this guy promoter offered to have us come in and do like 6 shows, and we went way.
It was like
deep,
9
man.
shows,
We
I
went
think. Yeah, it was more than 6.
all the way to like Mongolia, just about.
Yeah,
so we spent a lot of time on trains,
like north of Mongolia.
Those Russian trains. I got a story about that.
Yeah.
I'll bet you do.
What international places do you find just fucking fell in love with you immediately? I always think of that line in Singles where Matt Damon goes, "We're really big in Belgium."
France took to us early on in Europe.
Yeah.
One of the bigger ones early
Which
on.
was shocking because France, they don't like a lot of things necessarily.
Right.
They just, they love, I don't know, French culture, but I mean, you kind of never know. I remember talking to someone like, hey, how do you feel about Rage Against the Machine? Love them. How do you feel about Nirvana? Love them. how do you feel about Pearl Jam? It's like so you kind of just never know, right? And
Yeah.
for some reason with us, we did well right away. And
We're
it's
the
like
Jerry Lewises of punk rock.
Yeah.
Italy did well. Spain didn't like us for a while, but they love us now. We do really well there. Switzerland, we had some rough shows there, and it didn't go well early on, but they've come around. We do well there now.
You know how different each country in Europe can be, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's some.
You mean Scandinavia where they go, very good, next?
You know what? Scandinavia is weird. They don't get humor much. Finland, they do, I think. Do you know Ismo at all, the Finnish comedian?
No.
He's funny. He's very observational humor kind of guy. But yeah, Sweden, we used to kind of joke in interviews, and they would just, "Which you're not serious."
Yeah.
Well, no, we're not.
You'd tell a joke and throughout Scandinavia, whenever you do a tour, it's for us, it's always you do the UK, then you do a big Scandinavian run, and then you hit everywhere in between, and then you always end up in Amsterdam, and then you end up back in the UK. And Scandinavia, the first time I was like, it's crazy to me, and I wonder if this is same for you, but when I look into the audience, it looks identical to Ohio. I mean, I couldn't tell you the difference if you took a picture of my fans in Norway and then took a picture of my fans in Ohio, they look fucking identical.
Why do you think that is?
White dudes with beards, a little overweight. Okay. Chick a little hotter than they deserve, and the chick's there because they want to be there. They're killing beers. And I mean, especially when I go to Ireland, that is like I'm looking at a goddamn mirror. And those Ireland's probably my wildest market because you go in there and they're in charge of the show. It is you are a soccer team and they are your fans and you will do what they want. And I'm the kind of guy that like, all right, you want it, you got it. You want me to drink beers? Let's fucking do it. And you want to fucking chant in between jokes, ole, ole, oi, oi, ole, 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 ole.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I'd finish a joke. And then I call my wife, ole, 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 ole. And then you go to anywhere in Scandinavia, and they're always like, I feel bad for your wife.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Other side of it. Yeah.
Now, what do you do on a day off? I know what you do. What do you do?
It kind of depends. Usually just kind of try to take it easy now, mostly, right?
There's a lot of that, but I like to.
They'd always say, like, so do you ever get out and see anything when you're on the road, or are you too busy? And you'd be like, well, we do a lot of overnight drives, whatever stuff. But, we probably end up getting out like once a week. But, by the 37th time you've been to whatever city, it's kind of like, I think I'll just turn on Netflix and take it easy.
Yeah. You've been doing a lot of, he's training for triathlons and shit. So he's riding a lot of bikes and stuff on tour lately.
Been riding outdoors and stuff.
Yeah. When I'm trying to do healthy, I'll go for a good long walk. Like, especially if there's like in Switzerland, there's some nice woods we can walk through and, beautiful. And in Europe, there's rivers and stuff. I'll just go for a walk along the river. Just check out people, check out birds.
The All Trails app is amazing for being on tour.
All Trails?
Because you can't get lost.
All Trails is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All Trails is fucking awesome. When did you get in triathlons?
Maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah?
Something like that. I ran a lot over the years, but your knees start to go after a while, and I just couldn't run that much. So I didn't do anything and gained a lot of weight, and eventually I thought I'd try triathlon just because you can break up the exercise.
How many marathons did you do before you got into triathlons?
2 full marathons in LA.
Really?
Yeah.
Which ones?
The LA, 2006, 2007.
Okay.
I did it, and it was a bitch. It was really hard.
What was your time?
Like 5 hours.
Okay. Yeah, 5 hours and 33 minutes.
That's what you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
33 seconds.
So it's a slog, right? But yeah, I mean, really the impetus for this is like we do these shows even early on, like we're in our 20s, and these shows are massively oversold. They're so hot. Like we've had shows where the sweat drips from the ceilings. I mean, it's foggy in the room, right? Like that bad, especially in some countries where they don't have the same kind of zoning laws, or states even for that matter, right?
Right.
And I would get off stage and I would puke. Like it was that bad, where it was just that hard because you can't get in a breath. There's no real air, right?
Yeah.
And I know I sound like a wuss, but I think singing's harder than standing up and playing guitar,
no, it is,
right?
For sure. Yeah.
And it was just so physically
Yeah.
exhausting, and it was killing me. And I was dreading the shows. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to go up there and, my heart's beating out of my chest and I'm puking after the show. And it's like, I got to get on top of this. So it's almost like it's forced me to go the other way. And like, I have to condition in order to be able to tolerate doing shows.
I talked to Slash one time, and the one thing they asked me was like, do not bring up Guns N' Roses. And I was like, well, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, I want to talk about Slash's Snake Pit. It's his new band. That's all we want to talk about. And Slash showed up early. It was like maybe like an 8 a.m. call time. He showed up at 7, and his chick had kicked him out. And he was standing in the hallway by my door, and I was fucking Slash. I was like, what's up? And he said, they say you have booze in your green room. And I said, I do. And he goes, I could use something. So I was like, cool. And so we sat and we drank in my green room, and we started talking. And it was such a cool conversation that I was like, all right, we're boys. So I walked out, and the first question was, why did Guns N' Roses break up? This is 2000. 2000.
I was going to say it had to be a while ago.
Yeah, it was 2000.
He's pretty clean these days.
And he said something. I want to point this. I'm going to ask you this question, the same to you. But Slash's reason was, when we started, we were just a bunch of street kids in LA, and we were all poor, and we went on tour for like 4 years, 5 years. Never lived off the bus. Come back to LA, and then party and go back on tour. And then he said, when we got done our last tour, or Use Your Illusion tour, I think it was, he said, we all had a break, and we went to our offices, and someone said basically, what kind of millionaire are you going to be? And everyone had an opportunity to pick we've seen the city. What kind of first question, where you're buying your houses? And Slash is like, well, I'm buying on one off the Sunset Strip. Duff's like, me too. And everyone's like, yeah. And Axl said, I'm buying one in Malibu. And he said, and I realized, maybe we didn't have all that much in common. Maybe we are different people. I never realized we might be different people who've been working for this common goal. So when you guys became millionaires, did you notice the band, like different personalities, and you're like, oh, I didn't know you were into archery?
Right. Right. I think a bit of that.
Yeah.
We've had a couple members change over the years or whatever.
Yeah.
So
what's that like?
It's like a divorce.
Yeah.
Do you talk to them on the phone afterwards, or when you cut ties, you're like, you're out of the band and I'm moving forward?
I would say it was not amicable, put it that way, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, early on, like somebody wanted to buy a house right away, someone wanted to wait or whatever, maybe picked a really fancy house or a very modest house or whatever. What is kind of funny is we ended up a few years later, but we live like a mile away from each other. So we picked the Sunset Boulevard version, I guess, of the house, right?
Of Huntington Beach. Yeah.
I'm in Huntington, he's in Sunset, so we're like pretty close.
Sunset Beach is part of Huntington now. It was an unincorporated area when I bought there, but
Really?
Yeah.
And are you guys kind of like Huntington royalty?
Fucking A, we own that town.
Like when you walk into a bar, they're like, oh, fuck, he's here. Because that is notoriously Huntington Beach, all of that area, all of those beach towns are like locals only. It is very territorial.
Well, definitely. If I grew up surfing there, so in that regard, for sure. Like I don't surf the pier. I would go surf the pier with Jack from TSOL. That's the last time I surfed the pier.
Tough, yeah,
yeah, and he'd be yelling at kids to get off waves, and I'll go, okay, he's going right. I'm going to take the left, right? I'd work with him. That's like they're like we know the local bars where we're comfortable going in, and they just know us now. So like we restaurants we go in that we go to quite a bit. They know us, and it's all cool. Like, oh hey, how are you doing? Like it's just cool. It's just like part of the neighborhood. Yeah. It's like Mayberry for us.
I'd rather go to a small place where it's just dark and mellow and
Did you surf growing up?
Not really. I sort of picked it up a little bit along the way, but.
You look like you'd be the quintessential get off my fucking beach.
I wish I was like that.
Surf Nazi.
Yeah, I love living by the beach. I love the ocean stuff. Yeah. I paddle more than I surf, really.
Really? Do you open water swim?
Yeah.
Fuck that. What do you think about when you open water swim?
it felt a little weird at first, I got to say, right? And I'm comfortable swimming.
It's like having sex with a Thai hooker with no condom. It's fucking terrifying. It feels fun for a little bit. When you get out, you're like, maybe I shouldn't do that again.
Yeah. An octopus tie hooker, right? Yeah.
There's a place in Long Beach called Alamitos Bay, and they kind of have buoys and it's roped off, and you can just kind of follow the line. So that's nice in that way, but it's still ocean water, an inlet or whatever. So go there. But yeah, at first it's kind of, it's dark and you can't see, and you feel like you're far away from shore, and it's a little weird.
Now, when you're doing the triathlons, where's the open ocean or the open swim? Where do you swim? Is it
depends on the location?
River, lake? Oh, is it ocean? Have you ever swam out like beyond the surf?
First triathlon I did, the first half Ironman I did was Oceanside.
Half Ironman.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty legit.
So I've done a few. That's kind of I do like one a year. I train for that and stuff. So
really, have you ever done the Malibu triathlon?
No.
I heard that one's like pretty fucking intense.
I try to find easy courses.
Probably some hills you're running and riding on in Malibu, right?
Fuck.
So
I couldn't do it.
But check this out. Oceanside, you actually run off the shore and swim through the break, the surf.
Okay.
You go about 200 yards offshore and hang a right, and you follow the shore for whatever, half a mile, and then you go into the harbor, and then you end up back inside the harbor. So that's the loop.
All right.
So
you go out and then outside the harbor and then into the harbor?
Yeah. So you're paralleling the shore, but you're going through you got to get through the break, right? And it wasn't a big deal. I mean, it hits you, but you've done it a million times, right?
Yeah,
so I'm talking to people after, my wife and stuff, and she's like, there were people that they never trained in the ocean. They thought they could just do pool swimming. They came from Nebraska, never done real open water, could not get out. They drove all the way here, 5 minutes. Lifeguards go, come on out, you're done. Your race is over. They couldn't even get past the break.
Ouch.
There was a woman when I was training for my triathlon. I was training at like the Van Nuys pool. And there's an older woman who would just fucking crush laps. I mean, crush laps. And I'm holding on to the edge, and she stops one time. She said, I've seen you started swimming here. And I said, I'm getting ready for a triathlon. She started laughing. She goes, then let go of the wall.
First step
is, but you think you can swim a half a mile but you're taking breaks, and there's no fucking break in a triathlon.
Yeah, right.
There's none. It's fucking
There's
terrifying.
no wall out there to hold on to.
None at all. It's fucking terrifying.
We were in Chicago just last week. I went with a buddy who said, we got to go do an open water in the lake. And there's like real beaches right on the lakefront, right? So and there's one that's kind of set up. You just parallel the shore or whatever. It was the worst, like waviest surf I've ever been in. It was way
of all
worse
the boats
than Oceanside.
And jet skis and everything.
I guess.
Yeah.
And
was it right up against where the cement slabs go out and then just drop off, and there's ladders?
Yeah. There's ladders. So it's not like it's dangerous. You could get over, but I mean, my buddy was just laughing at me like, ha ha, because you're like gasping every.
Is that Dan?
Yeah. So it was funny.
It's a cool thing to be on the road and be into something. We were really into disc golf for a while, and to get into a city.
Disc golf.
Okay,
yeah.
It's so fucking fun.
And you got to find something to do when you're out.
Yeah. Who's a band you go, all right, I know our show's at 7, but I'm going to run out 5. I got to see. Like, name some bands that you go, I'm going to make a moment to go see them.
Well, we hung out with Steel Panther. Are you familiar with Steel Panther?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Right,
yeah.
It's just great. Just they put on a great show. So funny. They're so funny, but they're also just legitimate musicians. They're really good. Queens of the Stone Age are great. We always go see Queens of the Stone Age.
Rise Against,
Yeah.
It's always kind of funny, like looking at menu. Who do we got today? And like, I got to go check them out. You never know who it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be somebody crazy, really crazy like this. There's this Japanese girl band called Baby Metal, right? I've been wanting to try to check them out.
There's another crazy Japanese girl called Otoboki Beaver. It's these four girls that play fast and furious punk rock. It's just frenetic and nuts. It's a great live show. I've never seen anyone quite like them.
There's Amel and the Sniffers.
Have great. Yeah, I've never seen them live, but
you're just talking about them today.
Phenomenal. She's Amy's out of her mind.
She's wild.
Yeah.
I dig her.
Yeah.
I dig there's two Southern California bands that I really like. Alex Sucks. Have you seen them?
No, never heard of them.
They opened for the Chili Peppers, and they were so fucking they're I mean, they're like, and I mean this, I hope they're hearing this with love, but they're your children. Like they're kids.
Oh, they're kids.
They're your kids who are so influenced by all the things you guys and your scene created, and they're doing it, and it's so fucking fun. There's another band called Strawberry Fuzz. Have you heard of them?
No.
So yeah,
It's bands I find on Instagram, and then I get into them, and I love finding new music. I always say, what's the hackiest questions you get asked in an interview? I'm sure I asked them. Let's run through them real quick.
Hackiest.
The hackiest, Noodles. How did you get your name?
I thought
stuff
it was
like that.
I thought it was because you were related to Mr. Noodles from
Sesame Street.
Yeah.
No, it's because I'm adopted, and we were watching Pink Flamingos, the John Waters film, and Baby Noodles was the baby that they sold on the black market in order to buy heroin that they were going to sell to school children in order to be the worst people in the world or whatever. Have you seen Pink Flamingos?
No.
Oh, you got to check out that movie.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, Baby Noodles was the baby they sold on the black market. So
he goes there sometimes.
and I'm adopted, so it works.
Are you adopted?
Yeah.
Have you ever met your birth parents?
I have, yeah. I found them in my 30s. I found
When you were rich?
So yeah,
It's got to be a fucking...
yeah. Well, I didn't want to come at them, and they thought I need something from them. So I waited. Until I was well off.
So wait, tell me about meeting your adopted parent, your birth parents, and they're like, so what's happened with you?
And what's the name of your band? Oh, it's the Offspring. Like
the Offspring. Is that about us?
Offspring.
Yeah. We gave away our Offspring.
You gave away, you motherfucker.
Yeah, my dad died a couple months ago, and I was like, I guess I got to call Jimmy and Kathy. That's my birth parents. And my son goes, "What do you think? You're going to take you back?"
I'm available.
My dad died. You guys have a room open?
Yeah. No, I have a good relationship with them. They're friends. They're really good, solid people. So,
Why did they give you away?
Very Catholic birth mother, and they weren't married. They didn't want to get married, and so I was conceived in Denver, Colorado, and she flew out to that's where all my family's from.
Yeah.
And she flew out, was continued nursing and going to nursing school, I think, and had me out in LA and put me up for adoption, and then flew back. And so it was kind of hush hush, it was all through Catholic charities. And
that's old school.
So it is old school, 1963. Yeah.
How old were you when they told you were adopted?
As long as I can remember. Yeah.
Oh, you knew
like
6.
I knew early. Yeah. I didn't really get it, So
other brothers and sisters, or just by yourself?
I have a brother and a sister. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So your parents were like, "I will take another one."
Yeah. Well, they ended up. Well, that's another story.
Yeah. They had kids of their own. After.
That's another story.
All of a sudden they had him, and they're like, "Oh, we could have had kids this whole time."
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. What other questions do you get that you're like, I'm done answering? Like, do you guys keep in touch with the kid from the music video, "I'm So Fly for White Guy"? Do you
that's probably the worst question. Are you guys pretty fly for white guys?
Oh, yeah.
Someone asked that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We get that.
Yeah.
I want to pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've never even thought of that. I've never thought of that. Whatever happened to that kid?
He started some kind of company recently. He was doing improv in New York. He moved to New York and was doing improv.
Really?
Yeah. His name's Guy Cohen. But what is he doing? He started some kind of...
It's kind of like political commentary vlogs.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Believe it or not. Yeah. We saw him a year ago.
Yeah.
And, still stay in touch. Very friendly.
Really?
Yeah. He's great.
God, there's a reason, you fall in love with bands and then they break up and you're like, fuck, whatever, and then you see bands like you guys who have stuck together and are continuing to do it, and you always wonder why. And then sitting with you guys for an afternoon, it's like very clear how just really regular you guys are. Like, I thought you guys were going to be broken as fuck. Because you spoke to me when I was at my most broken.
That's the next interview.
Yeah. You spoke to me when I was a kid at my most broken, and I was like, they're going to come in fucking wild and like fucking with an edge. And you guys are just like, "Hey, I'd love to meet your daughter." Sure.
Yeah. Well, we've got a whole big long year of touring coming up. We're going to, finish this year out and go through all of next year. So check with us in 2026.
Yeah, really.
Oh, wow. Is that when your tour's done?
Well, hopefully.
We're planning on going out most of the year next year.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't go out like 6 months in a row. We try to come home every.
Dude, if you ever want to come by, bring your daughter.
Buddy, you have no idea.
Yeah.
That'd
be awesome.
I'd be honored. Yeah.
I called her. We didn't tell her you guys were coming. And she's got a handful of bands that are her like go-to favorites. And then
My Chemical Romance is one.
Yeah.
Well, she likes My Chemical Romance. She loved Pierce the Veil. I'm not familiar with them, but they do a pretty cool Radiohead cover. That's all I know. But you want to know something hilarious? She goes, "Can you get me Pierce the Veil tickets?" My kids don't understand how concerts work yet, because they're so used to going with me, where you park backstage, you walk in, you go to all the green rooms, say hi to all the, like we went to see the Dead, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna go stop by and see John Mayer." And they're like, "Huh?" And I was like, but that's what they're used to that. She was like, "Yo, can you get me tickets to?" I mean, one of the ones she said, "Can you get me tickets to Metallica?" And I was like, "Buddy, yeah, I'll buy them tickets." She goes, "Well, can't you just get them? Because that's normally how it goes." And I go, "No, it's fucking Metallica." And then she was like, "Yeah, but Slipknot's opening for them." And I was like, Five Finger Death Punch is opening for them. Okay. And I was like, "Okay." So I know some of the guys in Five Finger Death Punch, and they were like, "Yeah, bring her backstage." And I was like, "Oh, no. I don't want to meet them." And I was like, "Okay." So then she said, "Can you get me tickets for Pierce the Veil?" So I said, "Of course, I buy them for them." Then she goes, "You should have seen the other band with them, Blink-182. They are fucking great." And I was like, "Hold on, you didn't know who Blink-182 was?" She's like, "Well, no, I have heard of them, but I'd never seen. I didn't know that's who. I didn't know they were playing with them." She had only knew of Pierce the Veil.
How funny! Pierce the Veil had to be opening, right?
They were definitely opening. Yeah. It was at fucking SoFi, I think. It was like wild.
Yeah.
And so today, I know how she feels about you guys, and I said we're going to keep it a secret from her. We'll bring her over, and just hey, stop by before dinner. So I call her. I said, "Hey, you want to stop by?" And she went, "No." I said, "Baby, I want you to stop by." And she goes, "No, I know what's going on." I said, "What?" She goes, "No, I know. Mom told me it's the Offspring. I'm not coming, Dad." And I said, "Why?" And she goes, "Because you're going to make a big deal of it, and I'm going to get embarrassed, and I'd rather just keep them in my head where they are." And I was like, "Baby, it'll be totally cool." And she goes, "I'm not coming." And she hung up. She was so panicked. And my daughter, Georgia, was like, "We're fucking coming." And so we came, and she was so nervous. And I think I did a good job as a dad to not like blow up her spot.
Yeah, definitely you did. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
Isn't it fun embarrassing your kids? It's one of the funnest things ever, man. When my daughter was in high school, she hated when I picked her up in my RV. So I'm pulling into the parking lot. I'd see her sitting with her friends on the steps. On the RV, just put her head down. Just see her face, her red face, and she's angry coming all the way over.
I used to take them to school, and as I dropped them off, I'd yell, "I love you," and they go, "I love you," and I go, "I love you," and I yell it louder and louder as the further they got. And then one time, I dropped my daughter Georgia off at middle school, and we pull up, and I said, "Hey, roll down your window," and she goes, "Dad, hang on, I know you love me." And I said, "Yeah," and she goes, "You don't need to say it." I said, I say it to just remind you." She goes, "Dad, like I'm at that weird age where it's kind of embarrassing." And I was like, "Oh." She goes, "So listen, if you're cool, I'm cool. Please never do it again." And I was like, "Oh, you're growing up."
Yeah.
And then I did it to her when I dropped her off at college. I was like, "Fuck you. I love you. Georgia Kreischer, I love you."
I was going to say that was pretty well argued, actually.
Yeah.
The fucking. And then I had a buddy who was doing it to his daughter. Totally adjacent. Had no idea I did it. Taylor Lewan. He would do it to his daughter. And I saw him doing it to his daughter, and I started crying. But I'll tell you, things change as they get older, but it is just as cool to bring my daughter over and introduce her to you guys and to share your music with her and to be an adult with your daughter and be like, listen to cool shit in the car and then tell them the story of where you were when you heard I'm not going to tell her about the ecstasy, but but man, it's been an honor and a privilege to have you guys on my podcast. Sincerely.
Thank you. Well, thanks for having us, man.
Absolutely hit you up to go to one of your shows.
Please.
And I'm also going to hit you up to go backstage. Like, there's a lot. Like, I'm gonna have to drink whatever you guys have backstage.
Yeah,
I
of course.
have to take a shit in your bathroom.
Not on the bus.
I'll bring my tour bus to the show.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is I take my tour bus to everyone's show. I'm like, "Yo, can I get parking backstage?" And they're like, "What?" And I go, "I like to have my shit back there."
That's great.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. And by the way, open invite to anyone if you ever want to come to any of my shows. I'm not on tour for 9 months, and I have no idea when I'll be back in LA. But open invite anytime, please.
Oh, cool.
It would be an honor.
Love to.
And a privilege.
Absolutely.
What's this? Musical deed. the fucking album's coming out. God damn it. Don't worry. We're going to put this in the intro read. I listened to the album working out. It's fucking awesome.
Oh, right.
It's fucking awesome.
Oh,
We listened
cool.
to the full
Thank you.
album, top to bottom, working out today.
Oh.
My fucking trainer's like, yo, where the fuck did you get this? Because we got the pre-order.
Okay.
We got the pre-order, and we put it on the fucking boombox, and we listened to the whole fucking album, and it is fucking magical. I hope to God I get a little bit of what you guys get when I get my next special out, because everything you do is, I mean, you guys are like, you know, I wanted to say you guys are like the Beach Boys, but I say that in a weird compliment because the Beach Boys are great, but Brian Wilson was so different and evolving in such a weird way towards the end, and then they really evolved in weird ways. I just watched their documentary, but when you watch the Beach Boys,
that's right, the Disney documentary, right?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that yet.
Fucking
I heard
crazy.
I heard it's great.
I mean, you forget you remember the Beach Boys is one thing, and then you hear Pet Sounds, and you're like, whoa, this guy. And Brian Wilson didn't even know how to really compose music. He could just go, I'm looking for na na na. Like, can you do that?
Yeah.
And you're watching.
He had it in his head, but he didn't really know how to put it down so much.
Yeah, it's a curse. It's hard. It's a heartbreaking documentary. But you guys are in that weird echelon of like bands that defined a culture. You know, just like the Beach Boys defined California, the Beatles defined Liverpool. I mean, the Offspring for me, and you're in that, like, you guys are in such a cool class of great musicians that spoke to dudes like me my whole fucking life.
That's awesome.
Wow, man. Thank you.
Means a lot.
Some huge high praise. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and doing my podcast, guys. And everyone, get the fucking new album. Where's it gonna, like, are you gonna, how does an album even come out these days? It goes to iTunes?
It's free on the internet, essentially.
It's free on the internet.
Yeah.
What date does it come out?
October 11th.
October 11th.
The whole thing will be out October 11th. There's 2 songs out, Make It All Right, and
Light It Up.
Light It Up.
Are out right now. But they press vinyl and stuff if you're into that sort of thing.
Fuck yes. I'm really into vinyl. I think I have a vinyl of your new album. If I had any foresight, I would have gotten Smash and had you guys just sign it. Bert, it's gonna be okay. Just like when you get put up for adoption, the weird things that happen in your life that you think are a setback in your life. For some reason, that chick cheated on me. I got lost, and I found, and Rolling Stone magazine discovered me the next week, or next month, next year actually, and I got written up in Rolling Stone magazine as the #1 party animal in the country, and I had a totally different life because of that. And I will tell you, I call them my salad days of like figuring out what the fuck you're doing. And you guys were the fucking soundtrack to my salad days.
That's awesome.
Rad, man.
That's great. Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, thank you guys very much.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Awesome.
This episode was brought to you by The Machine.